Hey, bookworms, and welcome back to the Book Nook podcast. Are you ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we getting into today?
Well, today we're cracking open Freida McFadden's The Boyfriend.
Ooh, I've heard good things.
Yeah, this one's been making the rounds, lots of buzz online.
So where are we getting our intel from for this deep dive?
Okay, so we've got the Goodreads synopsis, obviously, and then, hold on, I've got it right here. A couple of really interesting reader reviews, plus we'll be checking out 2 YouTube reviews, one from Chloe Huntington and one from ePathReader.
Nice. Sound like we've got a good mix. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first up, the Goodreads synopsis. Have you had a chance to read it?
Yeah, I give it a quick skim. Definitely grabbed my attention.
Right. So it introduces us to Sydney Shaw. She's navigating the wild world of dating in New York City.
Classic.
Exactly. And just when she's about to totally give up on finding the one, she meets this, get this, seemingly perfect boyfriend. And he's a doctor.
Ooh, a doctor. Okay, that's suspicious already. Seemingly perfect and all that.
Right. Like, come on. But of course, there's a twist.
There's always a twist. Hit me with it.
Okay, so as Sydney's falling head over heels, a string of murders connected to online dating starts happening in the city.
Oh, no. That's terrifying.
Right. Talk about bad timing.
Seriously. So is Sydney just unlucky, or is this doctor boyfriend maybe not so perfect after all?
That is the question, isn't it? It's that whole too good to be true thing that makes you instantly suspicious.
It makes you wonder if she's in danger.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see what our first YouTube reviewer, Chloe Huntington, thought about it.
Okay.
She loved it. Really enjoyed the short chapters.
Oh, short chapters, those are dangerous.
Right, so easy to just keep saying one more chapter.
Exactly.
She also really liked how the story unfolds, like through these alternating timelines.
Well, I love a good alternating timeline.
Yeah, me too. Especially in thrillers.
Keeps you guessing. What timelines are we talking about here?
So it goes back and forth between, the present-day mystery and then these glimpses into the mysterious Tom's, that's the boyfriend, his childhood.
Ooh, interesting. I bet those flashbacks are key to figuring out what's going on in the present. Like, what made him the way he is.
I bet so, too.
Yeah.
Got to watch out for those childhood traumas.
Right. They always come back to haunt you.
Okay, so here's a really interesting part. Chloe actually guessed who the killer was pretty early on, but she still really enjoyed the book.
Wow, really? So even if you can see the twist coming, it's still a good read?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I guess it's more about the journey, not just the destination.
True. The how and the why are just as important as the who in a good thriller.
Exactly. Before we hear from our second YouTube reviewer, I want to give a quick shout out to all our amazing listeners.
Yes. Hey, listeners.
If you're loving this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast and leave us a review.
Yes, please.
It really does help other book lovers find us, and we love hearing from you guys.
Totally. All right, back to the book. What did ePathReader have to say?
All right, so he also raved about it. Loved the fast-paced plot, and he was really into all the shocking twists and turns.
Shocking, huh? Sounds promising.
Right. And he even mentioned how much McFadden's writing has improved, like from her earlier work. He's a fan.
Oh, that's awesome. Always great to see an author grow and refine their craft.
It is.
Oh.
And he had one, well, it wasn't really a complaint, more like an observation, I guess. He thought Sydney's relationship choices were a little frustrating at times.
Interesting. Like she wasn't making the best decisions, even for a thriller.
Yeah, kind of. He hinted that there might be some inconsistencies in her character.
Well, I guess we'll have to see for ourselves. Maybe she's just blinded by love. Happens to the best of us.
True. And speaking of dangerous situations, ePathReader also loved the open-ended conclusion.
Oh. What do you mean by open-ended?
Well, it suggests that there might be a sequel.
Ooh, a sequel. Now that's exciting. I love when authors leave you wanting more.
Me too. But before we get ahead of ourselves and start speculating about a sequel,
Right.
I just want to remind everyone, again, please subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yeah, and leave us a review. We really appreciate your support.
We do. Okay, now let's get back to Chloe Huntington's review. I want to talk about how McFadden builds suspense.
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm ready to be on the edge of my seat.
So she mentioned the short chapters, but she also talked about how each chapter ends with a cliffhanger.
Ooh, classic. Talk about keeping you hooked.
Right, like you have to know what happens next. And Ian Thurder actually said he devoured this book in I think he said one sitting.
Wow. Couldn't put it down, huh?
Nope. And he's not the only one. I've seen that sentiment a lot online.
McFadden knows what she's doing. hooking those readers.
Mm.
So what kind of themes are we dealing with here?
Okay, so both reviewers talked about obsession, for one,
Mm-hmm.
and the lengths people will go to for love. Like, even if it means, doing some not-so-great things.
Ooh, juicy. Blurring the lines between right and wrong. Classic thriller territory.
Right. Makes you question how well you can really know someone.
Yeah, and how much you're willing to overlook when you're in love. Scary stuff.
Definitely makes you think. And remember how the Goodreads synopsis mentioned that crimes of passion are often the bloodiest.
Ooh, yes, I remember that. Foreshadowing much.
Right. It definitely seems like Sydney's search for love could lead her into some dangerous territory.
For sure. All right, spill the tea. What about the boyfriend? What else is going on with him?
Okay, so Chloe mentioned in her review that Sydney's relationship with her mother adds another layer of tension to the story.
Ooh, family drama. I love it.
Yeah, apparently her mom's super overbearing, so that's definitely adding to the pressure cooker.
Wow, so Sydney's got a lot on her plate. A potentially murderous boyfriend and a controlling mother.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, remind me. Chloe guessed the killer, right? Did she give any hints about how she figured it out?
She did. She said McFadden plants all these subtle clues.
Like a breadcrumb trail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially about Tom's behavior in his past.
So she's rewarding the attentive readers, the ones who pay attention to the details.
Yep. It's like she's challenging us to solve the mystery along with Sydney.
I love that. So what kind of clues are we talking about? Anything specific?
Well, she mentioned a seemingly insignificant bad date that Sydney had at the beginning of the book. Remember that?
Vaguely. What about it?
Apparently it plays a much bigger role later on.
Oh, interesting. So even the small details matter. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one.
For sure. Okay, so are you ready for a juicy reveal?
Hit me with it.
Chloe also talked about a shocking twist involving Sydney's seemingly perfect boyfriend. Remember, he's a doctor.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, it turns out his medical expertise comes into play in a pretty sinister way.
What? No way. Okay, I did not see that coming.
Right, and get this. Sydney's encounter with that creepy guy from the dating app. Remember him? The one at the very beginning.
I think so. Refresh my memory.
Well, apparently that foreshadows a much darker connection to the killer.
Whoa. That's crazy. So many twists.
I know, it sounds like McFadden's playing with us.
Yeah.
Like she's constantly throwing curveballs.
Sounds like it. All right, I'm officially intrigued. What happens next? Tell me everything.
Okay, before we get to all the final reveals, I think we need to take a quick break. Catch our breath.
Yeah, good idea. I need a minute to process all this. All right, I'm ready for more. What happens in the end?
Okay, so both reviewers were like blown away by the ending. Totally unexpected.
Good. That's what I want to hear. A thriller that keeps you guessing till the very end.
Right. I mean, isn't that the best feeling when you finish a book and you're just like, whoa.
Totally. It makes it all worth it.
Definitely. And remember how Ellen the Reader was hinting at a sequel? Well, he said the ending totally leaves room for one. Like, it's not a cliffhanger exactly, but it definitely makes you want to know what happens next.
Ooh, I'm so curious now. What do you think? Would you read a sequel?
Oh, for sure. I need to know what happens.
Me too. All right, let's see. What else? Did they mention anything about the overall message of the book? Like any deeper themes?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
The Trump reader said it really made him think about obsession and whether love can actually blind you to red flags,
That's a good question. It's like, how much are we willing to ignore when we're really into someone?
Right. Makes you question your own judgment a little bit. Like, would I be able to see the signs?
Right. It's like, are we all just one bad boyfriend away from being in a thriller ourselves?
Whoa. Okay, that's a scary thought.
I know, right?
All right, so clearly this book is a must-read for any thriller fan.
Mm-hmm.
Intense plot, shocking twists, and it makes you think. What more could you ask for?
Seriously, I'm adding it to my TBR pile right now.
Me too. Okay, so before we wrap up completely, one last reminder to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yes! Subscribe and leave a review. It helps us out so much.
It really does. And if you're ready to dive into The Boyfriend yourself, you can find a link to the book in the episode description.
Easy peasy. So, before we say goodbye, let's leave our listeners with a final thought. Think about it. Could you be blinded by love? Could you miss those warning signs, even when they're right there in front of you?
Oh, that's a good one. Definitely something to ponder. And it's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into The Boyfriend.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And to all our listeners out there, happy reading. And remember, sometimes the perfect boyfriend is just too good to be true.
Word.
Thanks for listening to the Book Nook podcast. To get your copy of the book, Check the link in the description. All right, so we left off on a pretty big cliffhanger. What did our reviewers think of the ending?
Well, remember how they both said the ending was completely unexpected?
Yeah, they were raving about it. Left them speechless, apparently.
Exactly. So they weren't kidding. They said it was like mind-blowing.
Totally. And the best part is, it sounds like it wraps things up nicely. But, not too neatly.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, remember how we were talking about a possible sequel?
Yeah.
Wissanth Reader specifically called out the ending. He said it leaves just enough open that there could totally be another book.
Interesting. So it's like satisfying, but also leaves you wanting more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's like the sweet spot for thriller endings.
Mm-hmm.
You get answers, but then there are also like new questions that pop up.
Totally. It keeps the story alive in your head even after you've finished reading.
For sure. And speaking of things that stay with you, Yantha Reader also said the ending made him think about some pretty deep stuff.
Like what?
Well, we already touched on obsession, but he also mentioned like the whole nature of truth and how easily our perception of reality can be manipulated.
Ooh, that's deep.
Right. Especially when you factor in how Sydney's relationship with her mom is portrayed.
True. And the whole online dating aspect adds another layer to that, right? Like, how much can you really trust what you see online?
Exactly. It makes you question everything and everyone.
Makes you think twice about swiping right.
Seriously. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that Freida McFadden has written a thriller that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Sounds like she's really hit the mark with this one.
Definitely. So to all our listeners out there, if you're looking for a book that will keep you guessing, make you think, and leave you wanting more, then The Boyfriend is definitely worth checking out.
Couldn't agree more. And hey, if you do end up reading it, come back and let us know what you think.
Yes. We'd love to hear your theories and reactions. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast for more deep dives into the world of books. You can find a link to The Boyfriend in the episode description. Thanks for listening.
Happy reading, everyone.
And remember, sometimes the perfect boyfriend is just too good to be true. Thanks for listening to the Book Nook podcast. To get your copy of the book, check the link in the description.